Okay, so welcome. It is August 21st, 22nd. You know what? I think this is what I know. I think this is like, if not within a week of the 1 year anniversary of when I found somatic meditation. Just kind of, yeah. Maybe a week, might have been a week later, but definitely really close. Yeah, just when I read that date right now. I didn't write it down or anything, but I do know it was on our way home from Banff and Jasper last year, so that would have been right around now. Hi, Betsy. So today I have a little talk for you. I'm going to talk about how our true self is not static. You know, I think I get caught up in this idea of always trying to get myself back to this kind of equilibrium, ideal sense of self, this ideal image of self that I have. And it causes me a lot of suffering, actually. So I want to talk about how our true self is not static. And I'm going to tie it into the solar eclipse a bit as well today. So I want to thank you all for coming today and for your ongoing interest in these talks and in somatic meditation in general. And today you're going to have a chance to talk. I've got some reflective questions, some introspective questions for you to respond to, and we'll have some meditation as well. But of course, we'll begin with our centering and our mantra. So I'll get you to feel your connection to the earth to begin with. So probably through your feet and your seat, your buttocks. Allowing yourself to open to the qualities of the earth. Just notice what those are, what those feel like for you today, right now, because also that is not static either. You know, the qualities and the way that you experience your relationship with the earth, that is also fluid and changing, just like your relationship with yourself. So some days you may feel the earth is very vast and open and spacious. Some days you may feel it as very solid and supportive and grounding. So just open to see what is present and what that relationship is today. And from that sense of stability underneath you, feel that rootedness, and then there's almost like a rebounding that happens through the base of your spine, all the way up through your spine, lengthening through the back of your head, drawing your ears back over your shoulders, space between your teeth, your tongue floats in your mouth. And allow yourself to open into your body. And also your experience of your body is fluid and changing. So this can be different from day to day, week to week, month to month, season to season, but even through at different times of the day. And just notice that your breath is probably slowing down a little bit and dropping down into your lower belly. Let your breath be in your lower belly. And then just staying connected to the earth and open in your body, allowing your breath to come into your lower belly. Notice how the mantra lands today. Remembering that I am intrinsically good without exception and that I have been given this precious opportunity of my unique life. I find ways to engage in my daily practice in everyday life. When I open to the vastness, stillness, silence, peace, and stability of the earth, that vastness, stillness, silence, peace, and stability opens into my body and being. And remembering that my heart is open, tender, and responsive, I enter into my relationships as a part of my daily practice in my everyday life. Okay. So you can allow yourself to transition back into our circle here. And for the next couple of weeks, and actually into September even, this month we're continuing to focus on the three jewels. And these, in Buddhist terms, are the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. And in our kind of yogic community, we know them as our true nature, the teachings in our community, and our Sangha, our community, the teachings and our community. And these three things go together. They're not separate. And in September, we'll be continuing on with our true self. And of course, I'm just going to see. That background noise is like, no, okay. As all of you know, today we had a solar eclipse. And, you know, we were just talking about it a bit before the recording. And it was interesting to hear about your experiences of it. And I'm going to talk a little bit about a solar eclipse and what it has to do with our true nature and how I've been reflecting on it and what's been true for me. And then I'm going to open it up so you all can have a chance to speak about what's been true for you too, with a chance to have some time to reflect on it as well. So when the solar eclipse is a sign of change and transition. And when I was reflecting on this talk, this has definitely been true for me. And, you know, I was thinking about this talk and giving the talk, and this has really been this time of transition and change, and has really been up for me for a good month now. So I've really been feeling the intensity leading up to this eclipse. So for me, it's been very much alive, the energy of it. And the kind of transformation that happens externally can often set in motion an internal transformation that results in an external transformation in your life. And personally and also communally, and this has very much been true for me. So I've been thinking about this in terms of our true self. And really, just like our true self, our experience of the sun and the moon are not static. They're constantly shifting and changing. And today we experienced a solar eclipse where the sun was obscured by the moon. And in this situation, our understanding of light and darkness is maybe called into question and unsettled in some way. And, you know, we see this almost every week. Well, I see this almost every week when we read the mantra, remembering I am intrinsically good, that the question of darkness and light or good and bad is unsettled, because intrinsically good doesn't mean good or bad. So we actually disrupt that kind of every single time we read that mantra. Because when we talk about intrinsically good, we're talking about being open, tender, and responsive. That is, open to situations as they arise, not as we wish them to be or want them to be or hope they'll be, just as they're happening. And tender in that we know intuitively how to respond. I had a tickle in my throat all afternoon. Maybe I'm nervous about giving this talk. And responsive in that we do know how to respond. That's what intrinsically good means. We've kind of, not kind of, we have thrown away, we are in doing these practices, doing away with the good, bad thing. And we're opening to the full spectrum of wholeness, right? And so this solar eclipse, invites us to do that. When our source of light and energy is covered in our culture, we're seeing that this creates fear and confusion and disorientation as the light goes into shadow. And so it's a chance for us to look at our shadow parts. So the same is true for us. When our source of light, or what we deem as good, goes into the shadow, we feel fearful, we feel confused, we feel disoriented. And I know I've been feeling this way particularly over the last few weeks. Or, parts of ourselves come forward that we don't feel are right, and then we start to judge ourselves. Or there are parts of ourselves that we that we really value, but we don't give them space and we push them into the shadows. So these things can happen too. And this kind of temporary darkening of the illumination, it affects our internal landscape. And I think it asks us to take some time for introspection. At least that's been true for me. And what I've noticed reflecting back over the last few weeks is a huge period of intense energy and growth. And that's actually pretty normal for me for this time of year. So whether it's the eclipse or just summer, right? When the days are long. So maybe that's why Anne-Marie's not really feeling it, because Anne-Marie mentioned she wasn't really feeling it. Could just be summer. Because I've experienced a lot of opportunities for growth and expansion, and then that's kicked into high gear, doing some different things that I haven't done for a while. I've been doing some Facebook live streams again, and then there's been a lot of growth and learning with that. I've learned a lot of things behind the scenes about how to increase engagement in social media, how to write up my classes so they'll get more engagement on YouTube. I mean, the learning curve has just been really intense for me lately, and this has had a lot of momentum with it, and it feels like it's had this kind of feverish pitch to it, right? It's had that kind of really solar, fiery energy to it. And from what I understand of a solar eclipse is that it's a time of personal and communal growth. And so not only have I been experiencing this growth, but the way that these things are working is that I bring everybody along with me. So while I've been experiencing this kind of rapid change internally, learning, these kind of rapid changes ripple outwards around me as well. And this energy has been quite intense, as I said, and being with these changes and this growth, it feels speedy, it feels energetic, and it's been intense. So it's been kind of buzzy. And this is true. This is what's happening for me. And while that's been true, there's been parts of me too that I've been noticed that have been pushed into the shadows, right? Because, there are only so many hours in the day. So another thing that I've noticed is that doing art has been kind of pushed to the side. And that's been happening for a while. And so reflecting on this over the last little while, I noticed that there's a part of me that wants to move more slowly, more intuitively, doesn't want to follow those rules and the drive and the kind of upward flow, that wants to move more slowly, intuitively, circularly, right? So one thing that I've reflected on is reconnecting with that part of myself that got pushed into the shadows, and allowed that part of myself to come forward. So I don't know if I'm making a lot of sense here. This afternoon I was talking to one of my Dharma Ocean friends, and he was saying how we can be open to our personal energy no matter what. You know, sometimes our energy will be up, sometimes it'll be down, and we can approach our energy with curiosity rather than judgment. And, you know, perhaps during the summer, our energy will have more intensity, we'll have more of that fire energy, that energy of transformation, which is what I'm experiencing, which is maybe why Anne-Marie in the winter there is saying, yeah, no, I'm not really feeling this eclipse, right? And an event like a solar eclipse then is going to give us a chance to reflect and turn inwards and ask ourselves questions like, what personal growth has been alive for me? You know, how, am I going through this cycle of personal growth? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe I'm maybe I'm, you know, in the middle of winter. Maybe things are in hibernation for me, right? Or what? And if I'm in winter too, because some of us, 2 out of the 6 of us here are in the winter, so a third of us, you know, that's a time of darkness. What's been pushed into the shadows that I want to bring into the light? So let's just take a moment here, because I want to pose these questions to us in circle, that before we come and go into meditation, then we'll do meditation. So just take a moment now and close your eyes and reconnect with the earth underneath you. Reconnect with your body and your breath. And reflect back on your last few weeks. And notice what's been alive for you. What has your energy been like? Has it been a period of transformation and change? And if so, what has that energy felt like for you? You know, what is your relationship to that energy? Or if it's an energy of hibernation, because some of us are in winter, what's your relationship to that energy? You know, so just open to the energy that's been present, and then just be curious about what your relationship is to that energy. You know, because that is your true self. That is the experience. That is your true self expressing itself. And then where the suffering comes in is in our relationship to its expression, right? It should be this way. It shouldn't be that way. So just a little bit of curiosity about where your energy's been, what your relationship is to it. And then the second question is around, you know, when we are talking about our true self, we're talking about our whole self, you know, our wholeness. And when you reflect on that, just ask yourself, is there any part of myself that's been neglected, cast aside, that's in the shadows right now, that's, you know, like that 3-year-old pulling on mama's skirt that wants attention? what wants to be invited back in, out of the darkness into the light. Okay, and then we can come back to each other. And I see your message here. Betsy's gonna respond in the chat box today. So I'm curious if I didn't totally convolute that. What's alive for you right now?
Since April, I've been in, like as you started talking, I was thinking about a lot of things. I've been in a real transformative place, but more like the phoenix going like right down into the ashes. So a lot of inward energy. Since about April, May, June, there was a lot of deep held family beliefs that came up, a lot of things that came out, to challenge me. Up until about 2 weeks ago, was in this really, really emotionally challenging place, because like my brother had, he was saying lots of things to me, which even though I knew in my heart they weren't true, it was like bringing out lots of those shadow bits of you, like you're evil and you're this horrible person, and you only care about yourself, and you start to question those things. And I spent a lot of time, with friends and getting other people's perspective, and they would reflect back to me, the person that they see. And I felt that when I was in amongst all this, shadowy stuff, and I was working through it, and I realized that a lot of it was to do with like limiting core beliefs. Some of them, I could get to the bottom of, some I couldn't, but through the somatic meditation, I was more like aware and curious with them. And up until a couple of weeks ago, I had a friend who was going through a very similar journey, and we're like, we just, every time we got together, we just felt we're in this dark place, and it was just like, one thing after another. And every time we felt, oh, we really just can't take something else, then, something else had come. And then about 2 weeks ago, I've been working through all the things with the family. And then I was like, do you know what? I felt that it was almost time for this big shift, another transformation. So, I went and I got my hair all chopped off and, got rid of all the heaviness, physically. And then even though physically and outwardly I was doing these things, it still wasn't getting internalized. And then, start talking to friends about it, we're here for all the emotions, and we're just in the roller coaster ride, and, there's the ups and the downs, and, da, 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 da. And then probably about a week ago on Friday, I just had this big shift. And, I'd text this friend who was, been through the similar things, and, she texts back and says, yeah, I just had a big shift today as well. So I felt like quite light and airy since Friday. But when I was actually in there and doing, all that work and like really being there, it was a dark and it was a powerful place. There was just layers and layers of things come up. And even although with like the layers of the onion, even though I've been there before, every time when I'm in there, it still feels like, oh, I'm just never going to get out of it. And then there's a little part of me that says, oh, you did all this, you did all this work. Why do you keep coming back here? Another part goes, oh, but yeah, that's part of life. It's just it's a different layer of the onion. It's a different intensity. So even although I wasn't maybe like consciously aware of the eclipse, and I think my stuff was more in that hibernation phoenix, down in the dark, ashes energy rather than the other growth transformation. Hearing, you talk today, and then, the awareness of where the eclipse and things are. Obviously that outer pattern, was affecting me, but I was kind of going through it without being really consciously aware. And when you were, talking about, the dark and the light, and I thought actually although for some people, you know, there's that little bit of fear about dark and light, I actually felt really peaceful today when you were talking about like a lot of the darkness and the light. And I sort of see them now as just, yeah, darkness and light, and not, oh, dark and light. Yeah. So yeah, so that's sort of what's been alive for me the last sort of, and probably the intensity of it's been probably, yeah, the last 8 to 10 weeks, you know, maybe, although I said April, that was what spontaneously came to mind. That was maybe like the start of it. And then the peak was probably beginning of June until 2 weeks ago. And now it's just kind of, yeah, tailored off again. And everything that we've been doing, although I don't comment a lot in the DYC, you know, I practice, and everything we've been doing week by week in the DYC has just been dovetailing and, you know, reflecting what was alive in life that week, which was given tools to be, you know, contemplative and reflective, and yeah, and just on some level it's reassuring as well to know that we're all on the same journey, doing the same stuff. We're all in different boats, and it's, you know, different shit in the boat, or different, you know, boxes, but yeah, we're all just going along with life. Yeah, so that's what's been alive for me.
I'm looking at Betsy's comment, and I know this has been a theme for her over the last few weeks, that she said she's been hibernating and hiding a bit. She's not sure what she's been avoiding, and I know she's been saying that over the last 3 weeks now. This is like the third week, I'm pretty sure she said that. I'm trying to bring my curious and adventurous self out of the shadows. When she's branched out, she really enjoys it. And yeah, this is, I remember her saying this last week too. Something is out of balance, and I'm trying to sort it out and balance it again. And, you know, I can really relate to this. And this is what I was really trying to bring forward in the talk today too, that, you know, our true self isn't static. So, you know, we go through these periods where we feel like something's not right here, you know, where it feels like it's out of balance. But it's what the point of the talk, I think, was that these periods are actually an opportunity for practice, for us to open to a different quality of energy, right? You know, we are so quick to judge and label the energy, but that it's in that layering of the, right, you know, if I was just with the energy, there's actually, with what's happening with me right now, if I didn't layer it with all these things like, oh, I'm anxious, I'm too ambitious, whatever it is, there's probably something really quite different underneath it. You know, it's the same with when we go into the quality of energy of, we're doing depression this week, and that's a fascinating one, right? There's a lot of labels with depression, but if you just go into the quality of the energy, it's actually kind of earthy and slow and empty, right? It's just an energy, right? Same with whatever it is, right? But we get kind of, and this is why I'm saying Betsy's is such a great example, right? Something's not the way I'm used to feeling, but it's just a different quality of energy. And what if we just open to that? And this is a practice for me too, because I go right into labeling it and judging it. What if I just open to that quality of energy and was curious about that rather than labeling it? Because it's in the kind of the story about it that the suffering arises, right? Right. right? That I got to get back to balance, whatever that was.
Who even remembers anymore?
Right, like we're always going to be in flux, right? There's not ever going to be this, right? The only time this is like this, yeah, you're going to be dead, right? So like that's we're not really striving for that.
Well, this time of year, it feels like, like I'm in a cocoon, and it happens every year. I've been paying attention the last few years. And it's this month, August. It's leading up to my birthday next month. And not that I have any big thing about my birthday. It's just, a milestone thing in the year. And it just seems to be this month. It just feels like there's that transformation happening, but it's very inward. Like, skin's too tight.
Oh, I knew you were going to say that. Could just tell by the way you were holding your body.
Yeah, it's like I'm like this. I'm like, oh God, I've got to get out. It happens every year, and I think now that it's been nearly a year for me doing this meditation, that I am more open to the experience of just having the experience. And but it's interesting what you're saying about that transformation and that very outward kind of stuff, and it almost feels like I am internalizing that, and it's getting ready to go.
Which makes sense seasonally.
Yeah.
For me, this cycle, or it's summer for me too, but like I've noticed a lot of energy of speaking more about what's going on for me, like to my family. So I've always been a quiet person. I keep everything inwards. So what I've noticed like lately is just that I have to, when something I don't feel is right, I have to speak it and say what's not right. And I don't know, I just feel the energy, people's energy around me, and I just have to speak out when I feel something's not right. And I don't do that at all, like lately. It just keeps on coming up. And I've had a lot, I don't know, it's just like everything seems to be coming to a head all of a sudden, like the last few months. But I'm starting to feel a little bit of a shift, like everything calming down a little bit. But at the same time, it's just like I need to speak about what I feel is wrong. And I mean, I'm saying it's all my family. It's like everyone, like sometimes there's no filter there anymore. So instead of being nice, it's just like, oh, guess what? This is what's happening. I don't know. I just have to speak what I feel right now. So it's a good shift. It's a good shift. Some people don't like it, but it's a good fish.
Yeah, Betsy's saying she remembers that your daughter was happy to hear what you had to say. I was thinking that too.
Thank you, Betsy.
Okay. Anything else for now?
When Maria was speaking about the shifts, I kept thinking, up until a week ago, I was sort of saying to one friend, you know, like, I know it's just part of life, but there's just so much shit in life just now. And I feel that not just emotionally, but like physically, you know, like one of the dogs had diarrhea, you know, then there was a sick cow on the farm. And I'm just like, I just feel I'm just like surrounded by shit everywhere, you know, like physically and mentally. And then the last week I've been reading this sentence everywhere, you know, like shifts happen. And the other day there, I thought, wow, there's only one letter difference between shit and shift, which is the and when you're talking, it's so relaxed. It's just like, you know, you're in all the shit, you're going to shift, you know, like. It just made me smile. Yeah. So that's how I silent all alone.
Which is the whole point of this talk too, right? Which, you know, we tend to think of ourselves as static, right? And we aren't. We're fluid. We're always moving. So when we're in those places that feel uncomfortable, we forget that it's not a permanent space, that we will move on. But then, you know, I think we have to remember too that as wonderful as it feels at the end of somatic meditation, that is not the destination either, right? You know, that's not the final arrival point for our energy for the rest of our lives. You know, where our practice is opening us to be present to whatever is alive in our life, you know, and Maria is speaking very eloquently to this, that, you know, sometimes our lives require us to speak truthfully. And to speak truthfully sometimes it means to speak with much love and compassion, but sometimes it means to be the bearer of bad news, or to, you know, to say some harsh words sometimes, right? We're not always coming from a place of somatic relaxation is the point. It's not the goal, right? And the problem is that, you know, the way meditation gets sold to us is that do this and you'll get this, right? You'll become more relaxed, your blood pressure will go down, and your brain will be better, which is true. These things do happen. But what we're doing, and this was, you know, I started as a 5-day meditation intensive today, and this was part of what Neil was talking about today, was that what we're doing is developing as human beings, right? You know, we're not just lowering our blood pressure and becoming more relaxed, and we are changing our brains, but there's something bigger going on here. So, and you know, we're not becoming one-dimensional, static human beings. It's not really the goal. So, yeah. So I noticed that not really any of you spoke about what part of you has dropped into the shadows. And this, you know, this happens in our life, that, you know, parts of us that want to be expressed, And oftentimes this will be a part of ourselves that we admire in somebody else very much. Notice when that happens. When you really glom onto somebody else and admire that that part of you really wants expression. So just, I'm not going to kind of draw it all out of you right now, but maybe just over the next few days, notice what parts of you are longing for expression. Maybe Maria's doing a good job over there getting everything out, but but maybe there is some part of ourselves that just especially in intense periods of our lives, right? There's parts of ourselves that get really pulled in, and then parts of ourselves that get pushed to the side. And it's in noticing that we can find that wholeness, make space for all parts of ourselves. So that would be there's your homework. Okay, so let's do some meditation. You're going to lie down on your backs. So you're lying on your backs with your knees bent and your feet flat on the floor. And you're adjusting your position so that your low back is comfortable, so you can relax completely without any effort. Your hands are on your low belly, your elbows are heavy on the ground, so that your shoulders can relax completely. Tuck your shoulder blades under. And then just check in with your neck. Make sure your neck is relaxed. You may need to put something behind your head. And you're feeling the earth underneath you, feeling its solidity and support. And just notice that as soon as you take this position on the ground, that your body begins to settle. But and maybe we don't even need to go into that right away as the default, because we can kind of go right to that. But before we even go to that, let's just open into our bodies. And notice what's present. So breathing into all the cells of your body. So breathing into your whole body, breathing in through your feet and your legs, your buttocks, your mid-back, your shoulders, your elbows, your head, breathing through all the cells of your body. And just noticing what's alive for you right now, how your body feels, and opening to that. So welcoming what's alive, noticing how the earth welcomes your body as it is. So you're allowing yourself as you are, the earth is allowing yourself as you are. So you're feeling the support of the earth now. You're being open to your body as it is. Open and accepting of your experience. So feeling your connection with the earth, beginning with your feet, breathing into your feet, and particularly your big toes, feeling your big toes. Breathing into all the pores of your big toes on both feet. And just opening to the sensations that are there. Doesn't matter how much or little sensation there is, you're just opening a little bit to whatever sensations are present. Feeling the mass of your big toe, the bottoms, the sides, the top, your toenail, the body of the big toe, the toe bone. Just notice any tension or discomfort, and we're giving ourselves time to open to the sensation. So this is part of developing a relationship with your body and opening to the fluid, ever dynamic, ever changing quality of our body. So it's never the same. We're always uncovering something new, sensations that you might not have noticed before. So you breathe into your big toe and you may notice some holding, some gripping, some tension. And then as you open to that tension, you may find that you can release that tension downward into the earth. It begins to release and dissolve and relax down into the earth. And as you release that tension in your big toe, you may notice other parts of your body releasing as well. Maybe in your thighs, maybe in your buttocks, maybe your shoulders. And you're just going to follow the relaxation trend throughout your body. Open this somatic sense, this sense of feeling your body from the inside, feeling your body. And then you're going to breathe into the pores of your second toe. You're really taking time to explore the various parts and dimensions of your second toe, uncovering and tapping into the tension there. Feeling the bone, the underside, the sides, and allowing them to release and relax, letting the energy go down into the earth. And then breathe through all the pores of your middle toes. Let your awareness connect with whatever sensations you find in your middle toe. Maybe it's the skin or the bone, the sides, the top, the little ridges, the toenail. Allow yourself to be open to the tension. And notice how the tension begins to dissolve and let go. Notice as you open your awareness into your feet, the way your body begins to release tension as you begin to open your awareness into your body. And that this relaxation happens throughout your body because of all the meridians that run throughout your feet. So by letting go of tension in your feet, you're relaxing your entire body. So you're breathing into all the pores of your fourth toe. Feeling the underside, the sides, the top, the toenail. Feeling the way this particular toe grips and holds on. Taking plenty of time with each toe. Developing a full experience of the sensation and its release of tension. And then breathing into your baby toe. Noticing the unique experience of your baby toe and the unique way your baby toe releases and lets go. Each time you come to this meditation, your experience is different. And each time you come, your experience is cumulative in that you'll be able to feel more. Your capacity to internally feel the felt sensation in your body increases. Your ability to let go increases. So each time you meditate, you know, even when you think you're not having a good meditation session, it, you know, your practice counts for something. You know, there's a little meditation counter in the sky, and it's working. So you're releasing tension in your feet. And we talked today about things that we push into the shadows, and really by releasing tension in our feet, we are bringing those things. It's one of the ways that we can bring those things that we might have pushed into the shadows into the light. So it may be that after doing this meditation, that question of what have you been keeping in the shadows, what part of yourself have you been denying or repressing that wants to come into the light, that may become more clear at the end of this. Because as you release tension in your body, you're bringing things into consciousness that were unconscious. So the shadows are coming into the light. So now you can feel all 5 toes, breathing into all 5 toes. See if there's any remaining little points of tension in your toes. And then you're going to feel into the balls of the feet behind your toes. Feeling for the tension in the ball of your feet. Up to the roof of your foot, through the bones, through the skin, through the muscles. And the more you open to tension in your feet, you may feel other parts of your body telling you that they're tense. And it's an invitation to release those parts as well. And you're breathing into the arch of your foot, the front of the arch, the middle of the arch, the back of your arch, the inside and the outside. Feeling into all the parts of the arch, all the way up through the layers of the arch. Feeling all the little crossroads and heavy masses of tension. And also noticing where there isn't sensation. Breathing into the parts that feel numb or cut off from your internal felt sense. Being patient, letting yourself open up to these parts of your arch. Feeling into the outside band of your foot, from your baby toe to your heel, connecting with that band of tension. And then feeling into your heel. Feeling the tension in your heel, letting that tension release down. So you're developing a neurological capacity each time you open to sensation in a particular part of your body. And that carries with you each time you come to this meditation. But I don't know about you, but I've been experiencing it even in my day-to-day life. All of a sudden I'll kind of have like a spontaneous somatic meditation experience where I feel my toes and then they'll spontaneously release. So it carries with you into your life as well. And then feel into your ankles, your ankle bones on the inside, your ankle bones on the outside. And into the interior of your ankles. So some parts of your body can feel more shadowy, right? Some parts of your body can feel more illuminated. So you can bring that metaphor right into your practice. You know, what parts of your body do you feel really connected with? Are you really able to connect with that internal felt sensation? What parts maybe feel a little darker? Can you open to, be a little more patient with, feel the numbness, and just wait for your body to open that felt sensation to you. Feeling the tension travel down through your ankles, through your heel, and into the earth. And then coming into our lower legs. Feeling your shins and your shin bones, the muscles on the outside of your shin bones. So maybe instead of trying to have a kind of top-down controlling experience of feeling the sensations in your shin bones, open to the possibility that your shin bones have awareness inside of them. And let your shin bones reveal the tension, the sensation, whatever is happening. So notice the tension that's being revealed on the outside of the bone, the inside coming into the interior of the lower leg. And again, taking that metaphor of the shadow and the illumination, notice what part of the lower leg feels like the internal felt sense, feeling the body from the inside is illuminated, maybe what parts feel more in the shadow, and gradually let those shadowy parts become more illuminated, the parts that feel tough to sense. Maybe feeling into the interior of the lower leg, into the backs of the calves, so that you're taking your time to feel the tension, breathe it in, and let the tension release down, surrender. So you're letting everything go. Opening to the sensation in your knees, your kneecaps. Again, feeling the layers of your kneecaps, the tops, the insides of your knees, the outsides of your knees, through the layers to the backs of your knees. Again, we're feeling our bodies from the inside, feeling the knees from the inside, what parts feel illuminated and easy to sense into, and allow those parts to illuminate the more shadowy areas that don't necessarily feel, have that strong sense of internally felt sensation. And then feel that tension dissolve down through your lower leg and into the earth. And then bring your awareness to your buttocks on either side of the earth. Feel your buttocks touching the earth. And feel the tension, the grippiness, the density into your buttocks. And let yourself have time for this tension to release and let go. Opening to the felt sensation of your pelvic bones, through your pelvic bones, through your sacrum, your tailbone, all the way up through your iliac crest. Letting that tension travel down through your buttocks into the earth. And also feeling the tension on the muscles on the sides of your hips. And then breathing into all the pores of your pelvic floor. Feeling the tension and the gripping in your pelvic floor. Letting that tension release and dissolve and let go. And then coming up into your upper legs. Feeling the density of your upper leg muscles, your upper thighs, the backs of your legs, your inner thighs, your outer thighs, your femur bone from your knees to your hip bones. Feeling the tension in your upper legs and giving this part of your body the time for the tension to release down through your buttocks and into the earth. And then feeling your mid-back on the earth, the bottoms of your ribs. Feeling the support of the earth and their connection with the earth. And then opening your awareness into your torso, from your lower ribs, into the space of your lower belly, around your mid-back, into your side body, your side ribs, around your organ body, your liver, your kidneys, your digestive system. Notice what wants to come forward, what tension is present. Let the tension of your abdominal wall drift back, melt down through your mid-back and into the earth. Let the tension of your side body through your side ribs, through the lower lobes of your lungs, release. Let the energy sink down. Now feel your connection between your shoulder blades and the earth. And feeling into the shoulder blades themselves, the bones of the shoulder blades, the outside of the shoulder blade bones, through the layer of the shoulder blade bones, just the inside of the shoulder blade bones. You know, traveling up and around the entire shape of the shoulder blade. Up into the upper back, the top ridges of the shoulders, around the sides of the shoulders, down into the upper back, sensing into the felt sensation of this part of your body. So below them to the sides, into the inside of your torso, underneath your armpits, feeling the sensations. Feeling the tension and feeling how this part of your body just wants to release the tension, relax it down through the shoulder blades and into the earth. And then let your internal felt sense travel up through that space of the shoulder blades into the upper chest, up along the collarbones, up through the upper lobes of the lungs, around your heart center. Breathing in, feeling the tension in this part of your body. Allowing it to come forward and then letting it drain down through your shoulder blades and into the earth. And then feel the heaviness of your elbows on the earth. Breathing into the tension in your fingertips, all the joints of your fingers, your hands. Let that tension drain down from your fingers, from your hands and your wrists, down through your lower arms, through your elbows and into the earth. And I'm feeling tension in your shoulders. In the shoulder joint itself, opening to that tension and noticing how that tension just wants to release down through your upper arms, through your elbows and into the earth. And then breathing into all the pores of your head. Noticing the tension in your face, in your forehead, the bones of your forehead and your skull, your jaw, your temples. Feeling all the tension in your brain, the front of your brain, the middle of your brain, the back of your brain stem. Opening to the tension in your eyes, your eye sockets, your eyeballs, the backs of your eyes, your eyelids, your eyelashes, the space where your eyelids touch. Breathing into all the follicles of the hair on your scalp, feeling the tension on your scalp. Letting that tension just dissolve down through the back of your head, through your occipital ridge, and into the earth. So your whole face just is dissolving and softening, letting go. We were talking a bit about core beliefs today. These deeply held beliefs can be released by consciously relaxing your brain stem, that middle, the brain stem's in the middle at the base of your brain, and relaxing the back of your throat too. So open to the tension at the back of your throat and allow that to release. And relaxing these parts of our body helps to release these deeply held beliefs. So now we're going to breathe into our whole body. Breathing into all the pores of your skin, breathing into the whole body at once, and allowing your body to show you any remaining pockets of tension. So scanning your body. When those pockets of tension come forward, you're just releasing them and letting them go. So your body is continually melting into the earth underneath you. So we're letting go of everything. We're letting go of maintaining any kind of static sense of self. We're letting go of holding on to some sense of equilibrium. We're just looking for the places, we're opening to the places in our body where we're holding on and we're letting go. And our body will continue to show us where we are holding on. And our body will continue to offer these places up to us. So as we continue to open our awareness, our body will continually show us places where we release, where we can release. And the more we do this, the more we can open to this kind of fluid and ever-changing true self, rather than trying to be who we think we should be. So we're opening to all the ways that we hold on, we're letting go, and in doing that, we're opening to this fluid, ever-changing, dynamic true self. And then letting go of any technique whatsoever, just be in your body. Okay, so when you feel ready, you can start making your way back to our circle.
Qué bueno. ¿Cómo están ustedes? ¿Cómo está Ceci? Okay. Yes. Pobrecita. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so we have a few minutes if anybody wanted to check in or had any questions.
It initially felt very uncomfortable, and this happened yesterday too. Felt very uncomfortable up until I think around the pelvis, and then I just relaxed so much in the spaciousness, and actually, without intending to or meaning to, I went into the earth, and I really didn't want to come back up. He said to come back to circle. I'm like, oh, I could stay here for a long time. It's very very feminine, kind of dreamy kind of energy to it.
Mm.
Today, even though I was interrupted by my doggy that jumped and then wanted to run around the house, of course. So, but nevertheless, I feel that my energy is up again. And I didn't watch the eclipse. I felt it though, because I was outside and it was a little darker and then a little lighter, but it wasn't major here. It was kind of foggy and cloudy. So, anyways.
Mm.
And I had I've been energetic throughout the week, but I had a lot of drainage as well. So it has been, a yin yang of drainage and trying to restore my energy. But I've been taking a lot of rests. I've been noticing that if I don't put my list as a goal, things to do, I feel better. I just let it go, If I can't get to something, so much for it, it just is what it is. Because there's always something that happens that needs to be attended to.
Mm-hmm.
And that is more important. So anyway, so thank you for this. I feel a little better today. Mm-hmm.
Thanks for being with us. Yeah, Betsy's saying that her experience was high energy today with the eclipse, sharing it with people and the energy, people being around and watching with everybody. And she had a lot of tension today, so she's focusing on bringing in relaxation and release to all those spots. See, for those of us that are in summer here in the Northern Hemisphere, it's the energy of summer, right? The peak of the summer energy as we're coming into the peak of the harvest season too, and people coming together and celebration, and it's that very outward, highly energetic season, right?
For myself today, I actually felt a lot of relaxation. I've been avoiding meditation a couple of days. There's too much energy going through my body all week. Every time I lay down for meditation, it just felt, so much energy in my legs and my whole body. It was hard to release. And so I try to avoid it for a couple of days. But today I don't know if it's the eclipse that just passed or what it was. When I lay down, I felt it all releasing. And even at the end, when you said, I still felt little wisps of energy just like releasing into the ground. It was great. Finally.
Phew.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you want to check in, Anne-Marie, before we say goodbye?
Happy just to listen this week.
Okay.
Okay, thank you for sharing.
All right. So I'm going to head out. We've had guests here from Ontario for the last, 5 days. So we're having dinner tonight and they're heading home tomorrow. I'm going to be meeting somebody who does yoga classes with me one day this week as well. So it's like a revolving door here. And then we're heading out to camp again on Sunday. So Maria and Michelle are going to run class next week. They have something wonderful planned for you.
Yeah, sure.
that they're very excited about right now. So don't miss it.
Awesome. Whatever it is.
You know, I find it's really best not to plan your talks until I tell all my leaders this: don't plan your talks ahead, because you need to be with our community and where they're at. And if you're planning your talks way ahead, they are totally unrelatable by the time comes around. So good that you haven't planned your talks yet. So that'll be great. And then things should be, I don't anticipate myself being away after that. But you never know where life takes you, do you? You know, everybody's talking right now about I don't know how much you guys follow Reggie's teachings and the Dharma Ocean teachings, but the big thing in Reggie's teachings and Dharma Ocean is at Christmas time in December, he does a 4-week, they call it Datun, the whole month of December. People go to Colorado to his retreat center there. And because I'm doing the intensive, there are people there. So my friend Joe there was saying, I'm going for 4 weeks to Datun and to Crestone, Colorado. And then my friend Aaron called me today, who's also a Dharma Ocean person. He says, I'm going 4 weeks to Crestone, Colorado. And now I'm thinking, oh, geez. I'm like the only person not going to Crestone, Colorado right now. I don't know. The pressure's on me right now is all I'm saying. No plans. I had no plans to go, but now I'm feeling that peer pressure mounting. You know what I'm saying? Can you imagine? Well, yeah, of course I want to go.
Sure.
Can you imagine 4 weeks? But then there's that part of me says, oh, but the flights, the cost. But then the other part of me says, do a fundraiser. I know y'all pay for it, right?
Yeah.
How can you? And then the other part of me says, what's that?
Do you want to plant that seed now?
The other part of me says, how could you possibly be away for 4 weeks?
Why not?
That's a long time. So I don't know.
Well, it was a little seed. It was in the dark. Now it's in the light.
I know.
Yeah.
Now I've told 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people about it in real life.
Your life.
What does that tell you?
And Betsy's encouraging me too.
Go. That's not subtle.
No.
Go for all of us.
I know. Okay. Well, I'll think about it. First is dinner.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Of
course.
First is dinner and then Hornby Island, and then we'll see after that. Okay. All right. So have a great week next week. And then I'll see you in September. Will it be September when I come back?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
See you in September.
Have fun.
Yeah, fun.
Bye.
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 Bye.